Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Well, guys, we're back again. We want to thank our patrons for their support and invite everybody to join us over on Patreon. Make sure you are subscribed, though, to the other channels, as well as they have unique playlists which can help you deep dive, as we will be at some point in time trying to catch up if life permits, if the world permits, and doing playlists maybe perhaps on Patreon as well. Okay, so much going on. Now, I had just looked and I didn't see this. And what is this? This is a 1.7 in Astoria, New York. And so I think UTC 0600. Again, UTC is about 5 hours off of Eastern time. What are we looking at? What we're looking at, it feels like this might be some sort of serious developing situation. As you can see, this is basically right along the highway here in Astoria, right by the bridge, 278. You guys would probably be able to tell me, I think Throgs Neck? Is that the Throgs Neck Bridge area? Before we jump back to New York, by the way, there was this insane and gratefully non-claiming life event where a Japanese Airlines aircraft collided with a Coast Guard plane, causing a fire. Actually, I think it was the other way around. And passengers spotted escaping from burning plane. The plane's toast now. There's like just a shell left of it. Nobody was killed. This is the amazing part. There are videos that show the impact, and then the plane's on fire, but somehow guardian angels were watching, and it no loss of life. That's a great thing. So this is unraveling as we're looking at it. You see, Roosevelt Island, Manhattan experiences widespread power outages following a series of explosions from manhole covers. Manhole covers, okay. Some sort of methane buildup, some sort of gas line leak. What is really going on here? Okay, according to locals, they were so powerful that dozens of houses on the island shook and earthquakes began. Well, the earthquake is registering. We see a 1.7 that literally registered with the USGS. After detonation of an unknown explosive device, a fire started. At least 20 ambulances and fire departments responded to the scene. Rescue helicopters are also circling over the city. The number of victims is still unknown. Now rescuers are evacuating all people. Experts are looking to find out the exact cause of the incident. Some bloggers suggest it could have been a terrorist attack. Cindy is picking up death by 1,000 cuts, is what she said when I was saying, what is going on here? This feels very, very weird. As we see the area right here, of course, New York is again one of those places where, as we've said, in this year with everything that's coming online, it's going to be very, very trying.
I wouldn't want to be there. I know some people get stuck in big cities and they have to be there, but I just would find a way to not be there. When I looked into this energetically, it's really kind of weird and I can't figure it out, but I see a lot of little black dots all over New York as if there were blockages, as if I was looking at somebody's energy body and I could see a lot of blockages that's wreaking havoc, that's causing chaos. So that's what I see. And something like death by 1,000 cuts, where it's going to just continue to escalate, increase, cause chaos, cause fear, cause people to misstep, be angry at one another. It's just like this escalating type of domino effect is what I see.
Yeah, it's definitely something we'll have to watch and we'll do updates on. It's very disconcerting, again, this is one of those areas where she's been feeling like there's going to be an event, and it's an obvious area of attack when you have the number one largest city in the country, and a country that is isolated in its support of Israel. For instance, we have so much going on right now. It's kind of crazy. This is up in Rochester, New York. This is New York State. It was a head-on collision. 16 gas containers were in one of the vehicles. This vehicle that looks all burnt out exploded. There is a video where a person totally on fire exits the car. Was this a terrorist attack? Because it is being investigated as a possible terrorist attack, as you see right here. Possible terrorist incident in Rochester. Now, here, Cindy's picking up more of it just being somebody that's on substances and not in their right mind, more is what it feels like. But again, this is what had happened. If you're not familiar with the stories, many times in war, the combatants are given stuff that will send them off into a rampage or have them not feel pain, and often they could inflict a lot more damage before they would themselves end up passing on. Then we had this just blew my mind. Bayside Marketplace in Miami. I don't know, is somewhere between 20 and 40 cop cars. It looks like, there's so many cop cars here. What they said was it was just a fight between youths in a mall. That many cop cars for just a fight between youths? Even if they're rival gangs, and we haven't seen that type of response to big mass shootings. This is what you would expect to see with the big mass shootings. That feels weird. So Miami, all the way down at the bottom of the East Coast, New York City there, towards the top middle, curious, death by 1,000 cuts. Denver police arrest a man they say breached the Colorado Supreme Court and fired shots from the building. It just seems like everything has kind of gone a little bit bonkers come January 1st. Over 300,000 illegal migrants were apprehended in December alone. This is Senator Marsha Blackburn. So what percentage do they apprehend? Do they actually catch half? Do they catch most? Do they catch just like 10%? If it's something like, catch 10%, then that means 3 million people crossed the border just in December alone. What we have going on here is obviously massive in the scale of movement of people. It's beyond what most people can understand. And then we have that Asian cow-killing tick reportedly spreading throughout the United States. This is just another one of those things that has people questioning. It's Asian, right? And it could kill cows because they went out and in 90 minutes, researchers collected 10,000 ticks from a pasture. From 25 acres, they collected 10,000 ticks. I don't know how fast you'd have to move, how many researchers you'd have to collect 10,000 ticks. I've taken many ticks off myself and animals and family members over the years. But what they have here is they literally come in such numbers that how big a cow can be, 1,500, probably 2,000 pounds. They drain it of blood in short periods of time. They literally are like little vampires that drain it entirely of blood. And this is the area that they are now spreading into. So as you can see, they are throughout much of the East. And, people are mentioning again, is this a literal act of war? You see it in the Pacific Northwest as well.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm seeing I'm looking at human population, where they would need more cows for more food. And to me, it definitely looks like somebody very deliberately took a paintbrush to certain areas and painted those areas where there would be a lot of people and there would need to be a lot of food. So, I mean, if I just stand back and look at it logically, this is very, very orchestrated.
Yeah, and somebody says, make sure you take care of the possums. Don't chase them away because they'll eat the ticks. Absolutely. I personally have had Lyme disease, and many people in my family have, as we come from Connecticut originally. And you can overcome it. I overcame it without the use of modern medicine per se, but by actually building up immune system, learning how to harness the energy of the universe through Qigong and building up what we call is your Wei field, your Wei Qi field. Yet 10,000 of them, that's a lot to get rid of. And again, it's just another attack on the food supply, quite obviously, an attack on us all. Only 15% of Israelis, according to a survey, and that might be high, want Netanyahu to keep his job after the Gaza war. I mean, he was terrified that he was going to be overwhelmed by the citizens. They were out protesting in front of his house. And then the war comes and everything, concerning him is forgotten. And now we're going to be saying the same thing about WW3. Oh, well, now the war is here. Now we're all just trying to survive. And that's why the war is here. It's pretty simple, pretty obvious. Yet we still have that power structure in place. I thought this was interesting. Your cells contain the universe. Yes, the microcosm and the macrocosm. Each one of us can connect to our DNA lineage. We could connect to things that would boggle the mind.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, as above, so below, as within, so without. It's all just kind of right there.
It is. But the thing is, they keep us basically on the edge of our seat with just being concerned for our lives. And this is exactly what the plan is for this year. If their only concern is dodging bombs, dodging bullets, scrounging for food, trying not to get some new swarm of ticks on you, super ticks that have been amplified in labs somewhere, then they won't go within. They won't understand the bigger picture. They won't reach out and literally create a heaven on earth scenario, which would be unfolding if it wasn't for this control system in place, because we are going through a change in consciousness. At least those of us that have decided to stay organic at all costs. Here is a case where an owner had to go in and use the porta potty, and meanwhile he got one. Holy cow, he got one. Look at his buddy here. His buddy is like, come on, you got to hurry up in there. You got one. We've been sitting here for hours. You finally got one. I'll just do it myself. Again, we could count on our pups. Absolutely. You could probably count on your kitties to a degree as well. We need to count on Mother Nature. And people will bring up, well, aren't you afraid of, the earth changes, the earthquakes and everything? I think, especially in these times, if we do root and ground ourselves, we will know when these things are going to happen. You will see animals leave an area right before an earthquake or some sort of natural disaster because they are in sync with their environment. We have been purposely, I wanted to use the word castrated from our environment because that's what it is. They've totally cut us off from our environment. They've cut us off from the natural abilities that we've had in the past and that are coming back to us. We would know when it's time to move away from this coast. We would know when it's time to, get away from that volcano. And we would be okay. We would survive. The only problem on this planet is the system that's in place.
I know, and looking at the pup, the only reason he knew to do that is because he's been watching his human daddy for many, many years pulling those fish in. So he knew exactly what to do. So always keep in mind when it comes to our pets and our children, they might not listen to what we say, but they always watch what we do.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.